Hello and welcome to the Wargaming.net League Europe Season 5 Match Day 11. Of course, it's part 2. My name's Oliver Laughter Maxfield, and to my left is my main man, colour commentator for today, Alex Cockenseer. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Cool, cool. We're underway in part 2, as I said, but let's have a look back at what happened yesterday for that refresher. Hello and welcome to the Wargaming League Europe Season 5 Match Day 11. The WGL players are slowly starting to claw their way back into this game. Bishu's going to come off reload very quickly. Meritor is finally doing some damage from the side, but it will be the collapse of WGL played onto Bishu. McMoney is coming up next. Pontobaco still doing some great work from the side, but Montiablo really wants to fall, and Griffin still has a few shells to make onto McMoney, and he's found the side and surely will fall, but on reload, not such a great thing. Meritorious will have to peek to do the last remaining shell.
Free kill is now.
Free kill, Nicholas Black. He's got Bush right in front of him, so he can't actually be spotted. He has been spotted, but I think it's too little, too late. Road takes down 505, leaving only Kluji left. That's the guy who had the most amount of HP. Kluji now on reload in the T69, and I think, well, Road and Free Kill will be able to finish him any second now, and it will be Road to find the final player of DTQ, and 2-0 now going to Momentum's favour. Takes the first shell on the side, and he takes the second one as well. Nicholas Black, beautiful shooting from him, and that's the problem with those heavy tanks. They really do blow these light tanks away. You can see how much damage that Waffentrager is doing. 487 onto the side of Road. Free kill. Road trying to do something with this at the moment, but he's got to find 4 tanks. Yes, one's an AMX-13 F3, but it still managed to land a shell onto Free kill, and honestly, Road does bounce one shell, but they really can't do that much as they do head into the pack. That is Deep Tranquility. Finally, Dr. Lapos does manage to take him down. A free kill, goes in for the charge, goes in for the ram, but that's not going to do very much. I think this is the last play for an EPS. Yankees knows it's all over. The Plunkett makes sure of that. Bananic and Catch Me going forwards. They're trying to do some damage on the T32s like they have this whole game, but it's just simply not enough, and I'm sure once Nia Pizzorni comes off reload, Eclipse will fall, as he does. But Thailand in that M41 gets Bananic easily. Last one remaining is Catch Me in the Pershing, and Stefan gonna go in for the ram. He does it, and with it, Wusa secures the place in the Season 5 finals.
High 3.
We're right, high 5.
A one-on-one with, I don't know who's that. Oh, International.
Shanish finds International. Montiablo takes Afwal. So Shanish is the last one remaining. 15 seconds left. 20 on the clock. 25 seconds left in total. And I don't know, man. I think this might be WGL plays game quite easily, and it is. FC Dynamo dispatches as the last tank of Schoolbus. It was quite an incredible match day. Truly an unforgettable one. I think the biggest result was, of course, Wusa against Evil Panda Squad, where Wusa picked up the 3 points necessary to secure their place in the Season 5 final. Was that your highlight?
Yes, definitely, and I like that high 5, man.
High 5 for the cheesy wins. But let's have a look at the standings, just to give you guys an update to see what we're going to for the last online stage, online match day of this season. Virtus.Pro, of course, at the top. 10 wins. Just below them is WGL played, also with 28 points, but not quite as many wins. WST Gaming third, but as you can see, fourth is Wusa. And today it's going to be about, does Kazna Crew secure their place as well in those finals?
I hope so, because they have always been part of the finals. They're a team that can really prove themselves at the offline finals. But I will today's match, Schoolbus versus Virtus.Pro, will also be very interesting from my point of view, because they are 2 of the best teams Europe has, and I think it will be a grudge match between themselves right before the finals. I
agree. I mean, those two have been going at it for quite a few seasons now, both besting each other at different stages, so it's going to be a really interesting one. But let's have a look at those matches for today so you know what's coming up. First, of course, is going to be that one we were just talking about, Virtus.Pro versus Schoolbus, the battle for CIS. Kazna Crew versus Dream Leprechauns next, and finally, WST Gaming versus TCM.
Very interesting matches, and I can say that WST Gaming versus TCM is also one of the interesting matches of today, even though for TCM they kind of depend on what Kazna is going to do against DRL, and of course against Momentum in the match that we are not unfortunately going to stream.
Exactly. If Kazna Crew fails to secure 3 points, it will give TCM away into the finals. But I don't see Kaz and crew not getting those 3 points in the next 2 rounds. But before we do head into the first game, of course, Schoolbus versus Virtus Pro, we need to check in with our resident social media guru. It's, of course, Melly.
Thank you very much, Ollie. I'm really excited about to see if Schoolbus managed to recover from yesterday night. But people, what do you think? Just head over to Twitter and use the hashtag WGLEU to tell me maybe your answer to that question. And, well, at least I hope so. So another way of getting involved is, of course, heading over to Facebook, following our fan page and becoming part of our network. And also get involved in the team voting we have every match. So by doing so, by voting for your favorite team and predicting the exact scoreline of this matchup, you maybe get the chance of winning one of 5 bonus codes.
Yeah, it's going to be truly an incredible day. Of course, if you want to win free stuff, Melly is your girl for that one. Bonus codes all around if you predict the right scoreline in these 3 matches coming up for today. But almost ready to get into our first game. Let's have a look at the rosters between Virtus.Pro and Schoolbus. A stacked lineup from both teams. Surprisingly, despite a lot of good players joining Schoolbus, they've had a pretty shaky season.
Yes, and Schoolbus will definitely play with their usual roster, and I'm eager to ask you, which of these players do you think will perform very well today?
I want to see Nuclear stepping up, but I think in general Schoolbus's problem has been coordination. I mean, yesterday we saw a game on Himmelsdorf where they should have beat GG Played. A couple of games we saw they should have beat GG Played on, but they lack that coordination. Tanks going the wrong direction. The T-37, for instance, chasing the wrong tanks down. So a lot of problems with Schoolbus. Virtus.Pro, they don't seem to have been really tested this season. To be honest, they've had a couple of hard games, one against TCM Gaming, one against GG Played, of course. But that's typical Virtus.Pro in the online phase. Let's see if Schoolbus actually steps it up. Even though they secured themselves a place in the Season 5 finals pretty much anyway, another 3 points would certainly give them a little bit of a buffer and a lot of confidence going into that.
I have to ask you, does the ranking, that the position that they have in the end right now matters in the offline finals?
I don't know. I think Schoolbus have been the offline finals team as we do head into this game. They are very, very good on the offline finals. They have confidence. They have good way of dealing with it. They have good way of approaching the finals. And for the first time this season, I believe, both teams with exactly the same amount of hit points, with exactly the same amount of tanks, apart from Schoolbus, of course, with those double T-49s that really do seem to work quite well.
Yeah, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but what's important for them is to hit their shells and to make the difference. We're seeing both teams going on the middle right now. We might see that confrontation coming up just in a second. The Annihilator there misses a shot. Nuclear tries to get a damage. And what can you make out of this?
Funny thing is that both teams have been going back and forwards on this map continuously. Last time they faced on this map, Schoolbus won the Season 4 finals. So it's really a big grudge match. First damage is going the way of Virtus.Pro. Harmony going very low. He does actually fall. Some good coordination from the side. It's a fast and furious game. Bishop pushing in. He has been set on fire, so he has to try and reverse, get out of there. I'm not sure if he's going to go down, but I would say it is Virtus.Pro's game to lose right now. The M41s are late to the party behind as they do surround, do try and take down Kusok first. And I really have to say it, Schoolbus are on the back foot, but what can those M41s do? A little bit of damage going the way of Schoolbus as they do manage to get some flanks on, but a lot of low HP tanks for Virtus.Pro. Can Schoolbus take them out?
They sure have a lot of shells left, those M41s, and Koritz is now on reload, so he cannot help his teammates right now. So look now, 2 versus 3 Breakneck with an incredible shot right there. Arclit is the only one left alive, and it's 1 versus 3.
I think those 2 M41s could have actually maybe done something here, but of course the T49 is just extraordinary when you consider it's one-shot wonder shells. 900 damage can come out, and Breakneck will be the one to break the neck of Schoolbus in this first round, and Virtus.Pro walk away with a bit of a fast, stunning first win.
A very good attack from Virtus.Pro, and once the M41 Bulldogs were spotted, they actually knew instantly what they have to do. They pushed over the hill over there, and they annihilated Schoolbus.
Well, where were those M41 spotted? When were they spotted? Were they spotted just straight away, or?
Right after they went exactly after the corner. They were spotted, and Koritz was already in a very good position, and from that moment on, they had all the needed cards to just win.
I'm not sure if it was exactly a good idea from Schoolbus to do that, because Virtus.Pro had those double T49s that they could just push over and make those one-shots whenever they wanted to. So I'm not sure exactly how that one went down for them. They had that T49, they could just push over, do that damage, and Schoolbus just couldn't keep their ground with the lack of the two tier 7s.
Yeah, and what I saw from the beginning, they were not so confident in their defense right there. So they were just waiting for Virtus.Pro to do a mistake, but they didn't. So in the end, that cost them the round.
Yeah, that's a bit of an unfortunate first round for Schoolbus. They tried something, clearly didn't work. We are just 3 seconds until we get into our second round. 1 on the board for Virtus.Pro on the attack. You could see that Virtus.Pro wanted to be aggressive at the beginning. They know if they get the early positions in the middle that they can actually get a good advantage. So as we do head into the second game, lineups are sticking the same. I mean, to be honest, it's a little bit of a gamble, as we said, with the double T49s, but it does work out more often than not, because if you get even one shell connected, it's just about enough to one-shot one of these light tanks.
Oh, and look at Virtus.Pro over there, committing on the lower side of the map, going now in the upper side, trying to surprise Schoolbus over there. I don't know if they will manage. The positioning is very good. It seems like they went for the other base. I'm expecting that M41 Bulldog to go near the cap and try to shoot from behind, especially those T49s, Chanish and the Annihilator.
But Schoolbus is going to immediately get that hill. You can see the MX 3090 down south just to shoot the hill player when he does get spotted. So if Schoolbus can react quickly and if they can get good position, this is going to be okay. You can see the rotate out from Armley straight away heading up north, trying to get some good defensive positions. They're also a little bit worried about Virtus.Pro rotating around from the south in some degree, in some form with those tanks.
Until now, no tanks were spotted, so at least there's no real information gathered from Schoolbus. They don't know exactly the enemy position, so they still have to get those spots before doing anything about it.
Ooh, the spots do come out, and well, Schoolbus remain unspotted with the M41 and the MX-3090s out the right. Let's see what Virtus.Pro can do. They've got quite a lot of hull down tanks there, so they should be okay. Schoolbus know where Virtus.Pro are, and they are keeping them at bay. Nuclear trying to make some shells. That guy is just absolutely sick in that T54 lightweight. And you do remember he did such a good job against TCM Gaming, pretty much carrying Schoolbus, kicking and screaming through that match with a 5-4 victory for them, basically kicking TCM Gaming out of those Season 5 finals. But can they steal a win against Virtus.Pro, who so far have been unbeaten this season?
That's a good, very, very good question. We saw that M41 Bulldog over there trying to gather the information so his teammates can snipe from the hill. Bishop is now spotted with that T54 light. We see a very good map control from Virtus.Pro. They actually have all the key points covered, so it will be very hard for Schoolbus to do something about it if they go into the cap, like it's happening right now with Kusak.
Yeah, first shell from that T49 does land, but not onto a player, just onto the scenery. So Schoolbus have to be careful now. They're going forwards. Pavel's actually just dropped off that hill, so he's not going to be in a high ground position to deal with this push around from them, and they might find Breakneck and Vorsik, and I think Pavel will just about be there in a time, but the overmatch is there for Schoolbus. Breakneck comes around, just try and get out of that situation, lands a shell, but it's not enough damage as the Annihilator stays alive for quite a long time. Going forward to Schoolbus, putting the pressure on. Vorsik is the next on the chopping line. Will he go down via Armley in that AMX 1390? I think he will. Dead Hunter falls, so that's the first frag going in the way of Schoolbus. Second one will be Vorsik though, so they are in this game still. Can Schoolbus remain? Can they take down Just Cause? Can they win this game against the might of Virtus.Pro? It's not going too well, but again, Just Cause being set and light. And, well, it's definitely Schoolbus in the driving seat. Apwal finds Creets, team captain of Virtus.Pro. Cap still underway, though. 18-second remain on there. And amazingly, Bishop lands a shell onto the Annihilator, takes him down despite the Annihilator playing that T49. But I think Apwal will have time to decap despite Bishop being there in the background.
Definitely, and look at Apple right now. Kusak is out of the cap zone, and it's M41 Bulldog versus the 251, and Nuclear with the perfect shot to destroy Kusak.
Yeah, good shot there. Shanish still remains on the hill. He is obviously the one to try and keep the dominance there. 2 versus 1 on the lower side, 4 versus 2 when you consider all the tanks left. For Schoolbus, it should be game over. Bishop trying to do as much as he can at the end here when those shells do come whizzing in, and Armley will surely dispatch of Bishop, one of the newer players there for Virtus.Pro, falling last for his team. And what exactly happened to give Schoolbus that advantage?
I think Schoolbus did a perfect read on what Virtus.Pro was doing, and they just spotted enough tanks to know where are the rest of their Virtus.Pro, and just went directly on the mid, which was the perfect call from Auckland team captain.
Yeah, it was great play all there from Schoolbus. They kind of overmatched Virtus.Pro. They saw that the M41 was up north. They kind of guesstimated that there would be another tank protecting it on the side. So they just went, what, 5 or 6 versus 4? And they had the higher ground as well. And I think as well that first shell coming out from Just Cause missing in the T49 didn't, or Breakneck didn't really help either, because that might have actually slanted in their favor. But that was a very clear victory for Schoolbus. Yeah. And to be fair, this looks like a pretty even match right now.
Yeah, so far it's very even. And now we switch sides where we'll have Schoolbus on the attack. And this will be the most interesting fact, because Cliff is mostly a very good map where you can attack very easily. So we'll see how Schoolbus does on the attack.
Yeah, both teams ready. Lineups are sticking very much the same, but the only difference is that they're ditching a 251 instead. Apple will be playing a T54 lightweight, which is expected. We've seen that a few times from Schoolbus. They like to use the double T54 or the double T49, so just using them hull down, I imagine. A little bit faster as well than the 251. Not faster, but more maneuverable, which makes it a little trickier to play in some respects, but also if you do get it down, a lot more agile, a lot more dynamic.
I'd like to see more about those 2 T49s that we've seen before. I think we haven't seen enough from them, because T49, from my point of view, with that derp gun, is an amazing tank.
Yeah.
So and if you can manage to connect all your shells, then
it's pretty incredible. I mean, if you can one shot, you can one shot, and you can take out an M41, you can take out a 251. And you can especially take out an AMX 3090. It looks like both teams are sending 3 tanks down south. Actually, I think Virtus.Pro is sending 4, and Schoolbus are not going to go at all cautionary. This might be the first engagement down here. 4 versus 3. Schoolbus have committed 2. Shanish is actually reversing. He knows he has to get out of there. He's trying to support the rest of his team, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Arklit right in the thick of things. Vorsic will find him. Kreitz will find Dead Hunter. Shanish does dispatch of at least 1. But it is just Kreitz in that M41, and Vorsic still has 5 shells left in that AMX 3090, 1 versus 1, but Schoolbus do have the higher ground. They are charging onto Just Cause up in the northern side, and despite the fact that Shanish is at the moment overmatched, he still remains alive until now, and this is very much Virtus.Pro's game to lose.
And look at Breakneck right now. He's preparing his shell, and boom! What a shell over there towards Apple. Wow, he is down, and only 2 tanks left from Schoolbus. The Annihilator and Amelie are left. And what's going to happen right now? We all know 3 versus 2 right now.
Yeah, the problem is Amelie's actually got no HP to play around with. Breakneck's going to come off reload. Will Breakneck hit the shell? It's not the easiest one to hit in the T49, but he's going to go for it anyway. Doesn't actually get the gun depression, and the Annihilator annihilates Breakneck. Gets the better of him in a 1 versus 1 situation, but Kusok is going to be in reply. And, well, it looks like despite... well, it looks like you're right. I mean, on the attacking side, Virtus.Pro had the advantage. Not a big advantage, but enough of 1 to take a win.
Yeah, well, Schoolbus was too late in the battle. Already 2 tanks died. Shanish was the 3rd one, and then 4 versus 6, because also Kreitz died. Was pretty hard for them to come back from that situation, but they were very close, as we can see right here. Actually, this was the action where Arklit and Death Hunter committed too much against 5 of Virtus.Pro enemy tanks.
I always see this. Arklit, Dead Hunter overly committing in that lower side. I think they should have done what Shanish did, which would have bought them a little bit more time, allowing their team to come down from that top part, but they didn't do that. And to be honest, I think even if they did, they would have probably lost that round anyway, because Virtus.Pro had those tanks on the top. So just pretty much from the beginning, Virtus.Pro is already at an advantage, and Schoolbus had pretty much lost that round. So 2-1 at the moment.
Exactly, and I think that Schoolbus should really look at what Vusa is doing with the M41. They all the time go and first spot the lower side to see how many enemy tanks are coming before committing to it.
Yeah, I agree. Lineup staying the same. As I said, 2-1 at the moment in favour of Virtus Pro. We often say the attacking side has an advantage on Cliff, so we can expect Virtus Pro to pick up another round. There's the damage on your screens right now. Brainneck is, despite the fact that Virtus Pro have played the least amount of matches in this whole season, he's actually like 5th or 6th, maybe 13th on that damage board, which is absolutely insane when you consider someone like Gisny, who's first, has played like double the amount of matches. He's just an absolutely fantastic player, literally topping it every single time he plays for his team.
Yes, and we had the chance to see 3 out of 3 shells connected. Amazing from a T49. Amazing.
He just waits his time. He knows where to aim. He can predict it. He knows how long the shell will travel for. He's just a next level player from them. So as I said, 2-1 scoreline in favor of Virtus Pro. The Russian giants. Will Schoolbus manage to topple them in a grudge match? And to be honest, this is a grudge match because they've been going backwards and forwards through loads of seasons since season 1 pretty much, but Schoolbus has been losing a lot lately, but I think they would really want to beat Virtus Pro just because they always do.
You might be right, and I cannot argue with you, but again, Schoolbus is going on the lower side of the map, 3 versus 5 again. Are they really doing this again?
Oh, they're going to go for it again. They've called the bluff, and it's not gone well for them. Arclit and Dead Hunter have managed to get a head start. Kreitz is in behind. It's a little bit of a cat and mouse at the moment, but 3 versus Arclit. I don't think even Arclit can survive this one. He's doing a good job staying alive. It's actually bought his team some time as Nuclear and Apwal head around the backside, and amazingly, Arclit stays alive for so long. Dead Hunter finds Just Cause because of that, because kind of survival. Shanish going against Vorsic there. Shanish obviously doesn't get the better of him because Vorsic is playing the AMX 1390, and I think at the moment Schoolbus have the better positions.
They have the better position, definitely, and here they come. Apple, Nuclear and Amalia coming to fight with the Titans. We see a little bit of peekaboo. The Annihilator comes right now with his T49.
Oh, he's made a big mistake and he misses that shell. If he didn't miss it, it could have gone the other way, but he did. So Bishop will take him down. 3 versus 4 now to Virtus Pro's favor. Nuclear, Armley, Apwell, all fighting for their team. They don't want to go into that second map with a 3-1 deficit. Armley, the next one on the chopping board. Kusok does manage to find him, and Vorsic doing the best he can. Apwell trying to reverse out of there. He's playing the T54 lightweight, so you think he will be able to do it. And despite the fact that they're doing great focus fire, Vorsic somehow managed to remain alive. Does get the better of star player Nuclear, and Apwell is the one to fall last for Schoolbus, and Virtus Pro pick up another round.
Very fast games we have today, and very nice games for Virtus Pro and also Schoolbus. So fast, a lot of action, and so far, Virtus Pro seem to be a bit more skillful than Schoolbus.
I just have to say, though, that was won and lost on the Annihilator's move. I mean, Schoolbus had the better position. They had the higher ground if they wanted it. But Annihilator in that T49 tried to go for a sneaky shot. And if he did hit that shot and penetrated it, it might have been a different story, but he doesn't.
And we can see over here what the Annihilator did. He stood so long and still missed that shot towards Pavel.
Yeah,
amazing.
That was a massive misplay by him, and I've actually not seen particularly good stuff this whole season from the Annihilator. I preferred Near You, to be honest, than that player. So maybe they have to start thinking about looking for a replacement for him, even though he's been okay, and I think at the beginning of the season he was one of my MVPs. But next map's going to be Himmelsdorf, so a different style of play, a different pace of play.
Yes, and now the score is 3-1, and on Himmelsdorf, Schoolbus will attack, so it will be very difficult for them to breach the defensive of Virtus Pro.
Yeah, so we've been live for about 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and we've already played the first map.
Wow.
Pretty incredible.
Incredible.
I think this map was actually chosen by Schoolbus, Cliff.
No,
okay, Cliff was chosen by Vertus Pro.
Vertus Pro, yeah.
Surprisingly, Schoolbus picking up Himmelsdorf despite losing
4-0. And attack.
4-0 against GG Well Played. Maybe they're trying to get some practice against the best team in the league at the moment. But guys, we finished our first set of matches. So have you predicted right? That's the real question. And of course, the one to answer that would be Melly. How are they doing out there?
Pretty good actually, but they're predicting Kazan and TCM as their headliners today. So Schoolbus and Virtus.Pro seems very clear on their minds. Like they simply know the ending of this match, as it seems, and we're going full forward to that point because I think we never had such a fast game.
No, it's been like 10 minutes of gameplay and we've already had 4 rounds. Incredible.
Absolutely. Well, 86% for Virtus.Pro, the community has spoken, and well, they really don't predict something very close. So it seems that this is pretty much over soon. If you think different, if you say, hey Melly, stop, there's a second map, everything can turn, Schoolbus is about to come back, head over to Twitter and use the hashtag WGLEU and well, tell me that I have no idea, or tell me that I'm right. Tell me that I'm right. I like that as well. So as said, get involved, join the conversation, use the hashtag on Twitter to make sure that we can see your tweets. And it feels like the teams are ready.
Yeah, we are being very quick at the moment, being very good. So we're almost ready to get underway into our second map. Now, looking at previous results, Schoolbus has struggled on this one a lot. What do you think they have in store to try and get back some sort of integrity on Himmelsdorf?
They really need to pull something special right now on Himmelsdorf, especially against Virtus.Pro. I think it'll be very difficult for them, and I'm eager to see what they have planned for that.
Yeah, I'm so eager as well. As you guys might remember, 4-0 was the scoreline yesterday for WGL played against Schoolbus on this map. They won twice on the attack on what looked like an impossible way to beat. I mean, they had all the cornerstones of Himmelsdorf down, and maybe Virtus.Pro, you said yesterday, Virtus.Pro is the better team on Himmelsdorf than WGL played, the best team on Himmelsdorf.
Yeah.
This is their time to prove it.
Yeah, definitely. And let's not forget that yesterday Schoolbus was not that far away to beat WGL played on attack on Himmelsdorf. So
yeah, they screwed up a couple of times.
Yeah, but still, I think with a little bit of training and improvement, they could prove us wrong today.
Yeah, that's certainly true. So let's see if Schoolbus has made those improvements. They've done that training overnight, and they'll come back with a better performance here against Virtus.Pro. Schoolbus on the attack, Virtus.Pro on the defense. Looking at the lineups, anything surprising you?
We see 3 5100 on Virtus.Pro side. That's a little bit... that's a lot of autoloaders, man. A lot of firepower. And Virtus.Pro is counting on a lot of firepower in this first round because they are going very aggressive. As you can all see, they're not staying in their defensive positions. They have 3-1 right now, and they don't need to camp so far. They're pretty confident against Schoolbus, as it seems.
Yeah, they're just going forwards. They're using TCM Gaming's tactic of those double 5100s played by, of course, Pavel and Vorsik down south. Pavel, in my opinion, was the best player in Schoolbus back in the days. Team Dignitas, then they were known as Team Dignitas back then. So he's pretty incredible. They make a couple of shells, but none connecting. Oh, I just say that again. Nuclear does peek and receives a lot of damage. I think he's actually perma-tracked. No, he wasn't, but they almost dispatch of him. So great start there for Virtus.Pro.
Such a great coordination between Pavel and Vorsik over there. And look at the results of it. Nuclear with less than 400 HP left.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why he peaked so far around then. The 5100s are IS3 killers. I think Armley would have had to connect a shell with that 12.8. So at this point you can see the hit points at the top of your screens. About 1,000 in favor, over 1,000 now since Arknet just received a shell into Virtus.Pro. So what does Schoolbus have to do to get back into this game?
At this point, they have to wait for that T-37 to come around and get the information so Schoolbus know how many tanks are in this area and where is the side where they can push forwards and try to surprise Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, that's the question right now. The T-37 you can see heading up the 8 line. It's going to be joined by the 5100, I believe. And let's see what they can do as a couple. I thought the T-37 would be going up the hill, but he doesn't. Sticks around the 8 line. And Virtus.Pro is just quite happy to sit back. We've seen teams being punished for sitting here too long. You know, we saw Schoolbus just heading straight into the cap. So have they learnt their own lesson here? Shanish does head around, and it could be T-37 versus T-37.
And indeed it is. Shanish versus Koriz right now. 104 damage received by Shanish. It seems like it's a one-on-one, but what a shot over there from Kusak, and Koriz manages to kill Shanish in the end.
Not sure exactly why Shanish went so far up then. It was unnecessary. Clearly, Kusak was on the cross, just as you would expect him to be. And that's cost Schoolbus a T-37, a tier 6 tank, and a little bit of pressure they would have been able to put on the hill. So big blow there for Schoolbus.
And at this point, I don't see Schoolbus very well. We see the 5100 versus the Rheinmetall Borsig. Two 5100s versus the Rheinmetall Borsig right now. And Amelie does connect one shell, 473, 3 versus 1, and Amelie falls.
Ooh, Vorsic so low though, 999 damage, almost a K short. Just coming onto him, and Pavel getting perma-tracked. I think Pavel might lose out to Apwao. His former team member might get the better of him. He has got the HP advantage. Pavel will fall by Apwao, but Vorsic will be there to revenge, dispatching of him quite nicely. So 3 versus 6 right now in favor of Virtus.Pro. They are starting to mop the floor with Schoolbus.
It's something that we didn't expect, right?
No.
Being sarcastic, but looking back what's happening right now, 2 versus 6. Bishop very low HP. He's right between Death Hunter and the Annihilator in a very good crossfire, but the rest of Virtus.Pro are coming for them.
Yeah, I think this is game over. Dead Hunter trying to make ends meet in his IS-3. Vorzic's going to do a low roll, but Breakneck won't, and Dead Hunter does fall. The Annihilator, the last one left. Unfortunately, looks like Schoolbus haven't been able to attack successfully in this first round. Of course, they'll have a second chance. The Annihilator still hangs on in that game, but Cretan at T-37 will bounce that second shell. So indeed, Annihilator does find at least one, and that's Vorsic, but Bishop will make sure he doesn't find a second, and 4-1 now in favor of Virtus.Pro.
Wow, so already Virtus.Pro proving themselves on Himmelsdorf, winning the first round, and they are at match point.
At match point so quickly. We're about 40 minutes into the show and we've already got our first round almost done. So incredible stuff from V-Pro. They've been on point right now. Some good fast games as well. It's great to see, but still Schoolbus can still win this round if they do win this game. If they do actually come back with 3 rounds in a row, they still have to win an attacking round, which is where the problem comes for them.
Yeah, it's a problem, but if they manage to put Shanish in a very good position to spot first and get the information without picking with those 5100, then maybe they will stand a chance against Virtus.Pro.
Yep, that's going to be going back to basics for Schoolbus. So much to do, so much work to be found, and really not very much time to do it. As we know, Himmelsdorf is very hard to attack on. We've seen so many unsuccessful attempts. We saw 2 unsuccessful attempts by Schoolbus yesterday against WGL played, and will they be able to make something work here after that experience? So I'm not sure. In my opinion, this is going to be 5-0. I think Virtus.Pro are unstoppable. They look like they have the coordination. They haven't really been tested because they won a couple of rounds on Cliff via gambling. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, they won because of Schoolbus did some mistakes over there, committing twice on the lower side of the map. But now it seems like Virtus.Pro is making this game very easy right now. If we're watching both were watching the same stream, it just seems like this for me.
I agree with you 100%. So going through the lineups quickly for Virtus.Pro, it's a double 5100, double IS3, triple 5100, excuse me, double IS3, T37, T32, and for Schoolbus, double 5100, triple IS3, quadruple IS3, even T37. So Schoolbus sticking to the same kind of lineup, surprising since they got caught out along that K-line when they used nuclear there. So 15 seconds until we get into this game. Match point right now for the Russian Giants Virtus.Pro, who are currently sitting with 28 points at the top of the league. This will bring them to 31. And since GGL have played their last game, they will be securing themselves for first place.
Definitely, and it's a place that they deserve.
100%, 100%. So let's jump in game for potentially the last game. Virtus.Pro versus Schoolbus, the grudge matches of grudge matches. But this time around, Virtus.Pro have just been better, and Schoolbus really has a lot of work to do now.
And seems like Virtus.Pro is doing the same thing like before. They are very aggressive, and they are counting at that T37 to do the initial spotting. And the whole Schoolbus is heading the banana way. And seems like Pavel and Vorsic are going into the same position like before.
Yeah, it's strange for them, but I don't think Virtus.Pro really has to change anything up here. Clearly they want to go for that initial aggression, do some damage and see what can happen with that one. I mean, a lot of teams like to sit up in the A, B, C line, but Virtus.Pro still want to make things happen as Shanish already falls.
Amazing shot over there by Just Cause. Who saw that coming, man? Amazing, amazing. And now we see Schoolbus going on the banana, getting some damage, but they are still concentrating on the other base. They're not doing the same mistake twice, but still they get a lot of damage on their way through.
Yeah, about 800, 900 damage received onto Schoolbus. Virtus.Pro rotating around the map now, getting into defensive positions, but they, you know, Virtus.Pro has so much information right now. They know exactly where Schoolbus is. They know exactly what they're going to do, because Schoolbus decided not to come over the hill with any tanks, and that initial aggression by Virtus.Pro along the 3 line gave them a good amount of information. So I don't know how Schoolbus are going to do this, but they have to.
Look at Amalia. I thought for a second that he's going in by himself. I was thinking, what the heck is he doing? But no, he stopped and found out some crucial information, like how many tanks are there. And now they're going in, the whole of Schoolbus are going in, and what's going to happen we'll see very shortly.
Yeah, a lot of Schoolbus tanks pushing across. Dead Hunter, though, might be deaded in a second because he's down to about 200 HP. Not good stuff from him. Arclit trying to side scrape there on the left side, but Virtus.Pro have done a good amount of initial damage, and that's what usually secures them a win when you're on the defensive side. Breakneck now heading forward, so from behind it's going to be Kreitz and Povel, though, so they're going to put some real pressure onto Arclit. A little bit of damage going back and forwards, but it is going to be Virtus.Pro to get the better of Apow and Armley. A lot of respects, but Nuclear finally makes up for something. Suddenly also Schoolbus back into this game. Can they use that one tank advantage or one tier 8 advantage to make something happen here?
And I don't know who was that 5100 staying so much time over there.
Pavel.
Being so...
Oh yeah, Annihilator.
Schoolbus, yeah, the Annihilator doesn't seem to be in very good shape right now. He was so far away for such a high amount of time. He was probably waiting for Virtus.Pro to come around, but probably a little bit of miscoordination between them, because the IS-3 driven by Arclit didn't tell him that there are that T-37, the 5100s are behind him.
But Arclit stays alive. That's what that man does. Creed's trying to do something here, but here comes the charge from Virtus.Pro. They're going to push around Kuzog onto Dead Hunter. Schoolbus at the moment fighting for their lives at this point in time. It's going all the way of Virtus.Pro. Just Cause goes in via Apow. Apow has a low amount of HP, so he won't be able to survive this one, as Breakneck does find him quite easily, leaving only the Annihilator, as you said, quite far of this battle to try and do something. But Kreitz does fall via him, and 4 versus 1, but a lot of HP still remains for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, and now it's a game like the wolves are coming for the sheep. And the Annihilator is reloading and trying to find a safe position, but unfortunately on this map with 4 Virtus.Pro players after you can't really find a safe place. Yeah,
Annihilator running away as fast as he can. Just Cause actually flushed that shot, so Annihilator will survive a little bit longer heading up the hill. I mean, that's the problem on the Himmelsdorf. If you do want to run away, you can in that 5100 if you get a good head start. So the question is, will Virtus.Pro read this? And it does look like they are. Just Cause heads up north. Kreitz and Vorsic and Breakneck are going to be sticking to the lower side of this map. And all Virtus.Pro has to do is wait for the Annihilator to come off that hill and secure all the exits.
They just want to finish this round as fast as possible. As you can see, Vorsic is going right after the Annihilators, but he only has 2 shells on that drum. So if he misses one, then he might actually get killed by the Annihilator.
I'm surprised the Annihilator just made a little bit of a mistake then, because he almost got proxy spotted with a 50-meter proxy spot. Annihilator might just drop down here, but Forsic's got the better of him. 1 versus 1. The Annihilator does get a shell as well, but it's a low roll from him, so it should be Vorsic to finish off this game and finish off Schoolbus with a clean 5-1 victory for them.
Wow, very well played by Vorsic over there. 2 shells left. 2 shells aim perfectly at the Annihilator.
Yeah, top damage was Breakneck though, Just Cause in second. And for Schoolbus, the Annihilator did actually hit 1.8k, but it simply wasn't enough for them to win any kind of round on Himmelsdorf. So it will be Virtus.Pro to pick up another victory, and as we said, secure that top space in the season finals.
Yes, and looking back at what happened there, I think the Annihilator was too far away from the whole of Schoolbus, and being already with 1 tank in minus, again, 5 versus 7 then, just end game for them.
Yeah, I think Annihilation should have been in the middle, take a leaf out of, for instance, Wilkie from Drooling Leprechaun's book, where he sits in the middle. He would have been able to get shots against Karitz and Pavel. So some miscommunication, some misplay, and some bad positioning from Annihilator, and Schoolbus in general loses that round.
Let's hope that they will fix those problems till the offline finals. They still have a lot of time left, so who knows.
Indeed, they do. So that's that first game over already. It's been about 45 minutes, and we've already finished. Final scoreline will be 5-1 to Virtus Pro. They won pretty much everything apart from one round on Cliff. Next up is going to be Kaz and Crew versus Drooling Leprechauns, but before that, Melee. It would clear 86%. Has it got any higher?
87. But still, you guys were right, and as said, they predicted something very, very clear. So you are absolutely right. I don't know if you predicted a match that was actually that fast, but someone from the Twitter community tweeted, Schoolbus has to play their normal game and catch Vertus Pro doing something special because they can't overplay them. Is that true?
True. They have to switch things up and try something new,
Yeah.
Okay, people, if you think the same or think different or whatever might Schoolbus's problem be, then just tweet me if you know if you have more information than us, maybe, or if you maybe know a cure to their problem, so they can fix it and maybe have a better appearance the next time. People, tweet us, use the hashtag WGLEU. The next vote will be up in a bit. We'll be heading into a short break. We have time to freshen up, get something to drink, get snacks, and then hopefully be back for the next match.